everyone, from wherever you're tuned in around the world. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Vuyo Joboda show right here on VN, where I get to sit down with inspiring leaders, thought leaders, and of course, celebrated stars from all around the world. And I get to find out their stories, their journeys, and of course, what it took for them to be as successful as they are today. On the show today, I'm joined by one of South Africa's most inspiring entrepreneurs. He's a marketing genius. Of course, when I say the names Lerato Agency and Pattern Brands, then you know exactly who I'm talking about. Mahlangu is the name, and this is what you can expect from this episode. Check this out. Let's go back to where it all began.
Yeah.
You're from Limpopo, right? Having
yeah.
made to Joburg about 13 years ago, as you had
Absolutely.
mentioned. But what was Pat like as a child growing up in Limpopo?
Growing up, I wanted to, at some point, I wrote a song and I produced the song. I was rapping. In high school, I used to organize hip-hop battles. At one point, I caught a bus and a train to get to Joburg to audition for Jam 80. At some point, I remember writing down, I want to be a public relations officer. The past weekend, I was at a launch party of some brand, and I was with my friend. So my friend is in IT, so he's not in this space that I'm in, marketing, PR.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, Don, I just saw 5 celebrities now. I'm counting. I'm like, okay, for me.
This is it. This is the life.
This is the life. For me, it's normal, you know, but yeah.
And of course, ladies and gents, when I say marketing, I cannot forget and rather not mention this particular name. His name is Mahlangu, and he is joining us in studio today to chat all things marketing, Lerato Agency, Pattern Brands, being a new dad, etc., etc. How are you doing, Pat?
Good, thanks to yourself, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Finally.
Yeah.
Last time we spoke was online, in a virtual...
Online on Instagram, and now we're here in person.
Now we're here.
Yeah.
I definitely had to have you on the show because, as I said, I can't say the words marketing and not mention you, you know, in the broader African, space. But you're a new dad before we get into...
Of course, I am.
How does that feel? How is the little one?
It's still surreal, you know. She's good, she's strong. I've been blessed to have a healthy baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, also it's taking up a lot of, sort of adjustments,
yes.
That I need to make. I no longer get up in the morning and hit the road, run or go to the gym. Now I have to change nappies and feed her. So yeah, so life has changed as I knew it. Yeah, but nonetheless, I'm blessed.
Yeah, a beautiful next chapter, right? Now you're a father.
Yeah,
it's a brand new chapter. But let's go back to where it all began.
Yeah.
You're from Limpopo, right? Having made to Joburg about 13 years ago, as you had mentioned. But what was Pat like as a child growing up in Limpopo? Yeah.
I mean, look, growing up as a child, I was very ambitious. I had really big dreams. I watched a lot of TV, and I think that's what sort of shaped my ideas, shaped how I wanted to live my life. Growing up, I wanted to. At some point, I wrote a song and I produced the song. I was rapping. In high school, I used to organize hip-hop battles. But if you ask me to rap now, I don't know.
I was about to ask you to drop a beat.
So it started there, putting things together. And I remember also at one point, I'm not sure if you remember Jam 80, the show. At one point, I caught a bus and a train to get to Joburg to audition for Jam 80. So I was really sort of interested in the entertainment industry. I really wanted to be in that space, PR. I'm not sure if you remember the legendary Pat Komafani, who was the spokesperson or the PR officer, as it was called then, for Kaizer Chiefs. And it was just exciting to hear him talk about his team and what, they'll be getting up to in the weekend and how they're going to win and defeat their opponents. So he was really inspiring, to hear him speak and watch at that particular time. That sort of also made me like, okay, at some point I remember writing down, I want to be a public relations officer, And yeah, and in retrospect, now where I am, I'm actually running a PR firm, and also running a media platform, So yeah, growing up, it was just being ambitious, watching a lot of TV, your TV, just being exposed, I got a lot of my exposure just through watching TV and listening to the radio. Because also where I grew up is a rural area, so there's not much. You know, I don't know anyone to this day that sort of is in the industry that I'm in today who comes from there or who who worked in the closest thing was like obviously community radio station, and most people start there and sort of end there, you know.
What I'm hearing is that, you know, it's always been part of the plan. This was always part of the plan, and it's really a manifestation of a dream that you had.
Absolutely.
Which is exciting to hear that those dreams are manifesting today.
Yeah.
But if you look back to at Limpopo and you think of the lessons and the nuggets that you learned from the village that you came from, that you are starting to see now as essential, that you're applying, what would you say those lessons are?
I think the biggest thing is growing up in a village. I think humility is a big one. You know, the ability to just being humble and something as basic as, and I remember I had my cousin from there visiting me, you know, this side, and he's like, why aren't people greeting each other here? You know? It's like, it's just, even our neighbors, they're just getting their cars gone. There's no like, hey, morning, how you doing? Blah, 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 how's the child? You know? Nobody cares, you know? And back home, it was like taboo to just pass an elderly person without greeting. Something as basic as that, you know, just acknowledging the next person that that you meet. So those things, I mean, really sort of, that's what shaped me. And also, I'd say even hard work, you know. So just to give you a little bit of a background, and I'm sharing this with my team yesterday, they're like, nah, that's not true. You know, I used to walk 20 kilometers a day.
To get to school.
10 to go to school, 10 coming back, and maybe another, on a particular day, another 3 Ks to go fetch water, come back, maybe another kilometer to go get wood and make fire. So those are the things, and obviously these are, I'm not sharing this because, oh, please feel sorry for me or anything like that.
Yeah, but it's your journey.
But it's my journey, and that's what sort of shaped me, and that's why I wake up at 5. Me waking up at 5 in the morning, it's not hard work, you know, because I grew up like that. You know, you woke up early, you know, you make fire, or if my aunt is in good health, she'll make fire for us, you know, she'd iron for us, and those are that's how I was raised, and I think humility and hard work, that's what growing up in that kind of environment sort of helped me. And
what I'm you know, it's always so exciting to get someone's bit of a background, because that shapes our understanding of how and what you to understand what you do now. And as you're sharing the story, I'm understanding that you building those blocks of getting up and getting the water, being consistent in going to school, even though it's not easy going to school. But now even that, you're consistent in your business, you're consistent in what you do, you're consistent, and you're willing to do that work. So it frames our context in such a beautiful way. And then you come to Joburg, right? That decision of getting on that bus or that to come. What inspired that, and what were you even coming to do in Joburg?
So what inspired, I mean, Joburg really. Also, remember, I was sharing earlier on, just watching TV, you know, watching your TV, seeing Mo Horisani Ravere on screen, seeing people that look like me, my age, doing the things that they were doing. Also, I was fortunate enough, though, that my mother worked as a domestic worker in Melville, which is like the hub of entertainment, which is like the hub of student life. Because I remember every time when you catch a taxi at Bree going to Melville, you pass by vets. You know, I'd be like, and this is the same vets I saw, I used to see on TV. You know, and I'm like, one day I'm gonna come study here. Then you go into then you pass UJ. You know, then like, this is where it's at. You know, I got to be here. So that exposure, you know, traveling up to Joburg, spending December holidays, or sometimes in June holidays, just walking in the streets of Auckland Park, you know. And I think also because of I was humble enough, or I was also curious enough, I would walk into a random building, and just ask, say, I want to be a TV presenter.
Yeah.
With my broken English. And they give you a contact number, you phone this, you make an appointment, tell you, no, it's December, people are on holiday, then come January, people are coming back to the village.
Yes.
So that's what inspired me to come to Joburg. I think those holiday visits, coming up here, just sort of being more exposed, being in the same space. I remember the first time I came, I was with my younger sister, and I could get so excited when we see celebrities and count the number of celebrities we saw at Campus Square. It was like a thing. So when you go back to the house, I'd be like to my mom, guess who we saw today? We saw Zola driving this car, and it was like a big deal for me. And fast forward now, obviously I get to work with some of these celebrities. Sometimes we're just in the same space, and it's like, okay, it's normal.
Now you are also part of that list.
And interestingly, the past weekend I was at a launch party of some brand, and I was with my friend. So my friend is in IT, so he's not in this space that I'm in, marketing, PR.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, Don, I just saw 5 celebrities now. I'm counting. I'm like, okay, for me.
This is it. This is the life.
For me, it's normal, But so those visits really helped in shaping my dreams.
That exposure.
But also, what I must mention as well is that also me coming up here like on a full-time basis, there was only one sort of key.
Okay.
And that key was education. Because I wasn't going to come up here and sit, because my mom's employer wouldn't allow me to just stay in their house.
Yes.
So education was very important. I really made sure my uncle instilled that in me, that education is the only way. So I had to study hard so that I can get university entrance. And with that, obviously, I can get residence and I can just study and pursue my dreams. So, yeah.
Wow, I mean, it's. I can imagine that child watching TV and seeing all these, that experience, and now getting to not only be in it, but also be influential in it. So the decision making, to some extent, you play a role in that, right?
Yeah.
In making the industry that you got to watch growing up.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that you didn't mention, I think, in the intro, was like, for example, I was watching a lot of TV, like I said. The summers were a big thing for me, and last year we launched our first ever award show, the Youth Owned Brands Awards, which also, it's like for me, a full 360 moment. From that kid who was just watching people being awarded. I never went by, mind you, I never won an award myself, yet. But here I am putting together an award show, putting on people that look like me and younger, that are, that for them, their brands would never be recognized by the mainstream, be it media, but also mainstream awards show, particularly in the marketing and advertising industry,
Yeah, and I mean, we definitely gonna touch base on that, as well as the pat on brands.
Yes.
It's a space and it's a platform that when you get to hear about it and see it online and engage with it, you can't help but really see the future, the bright future that, as young, I'd say even people of color in the country, they have a space that they could recognize as their own, that gets to share their story and the brands behind their story.
Absolutely.
What inspired you to start a business in this industry? Because it's one thing being in the industry, but taking the entrepreneurship route in it is now something else. What made you say, I want to definitely take that route? Yeah,
I mean, so Pattern Brands, prior to launching Pattern Brands, I co-founded Varsity TV, right?
Okay.
So Varsity TV was like a campus media platform.
Wow.
And really our slogan at the time was unearthing youth talent. So what we did was that we put up big plasma screens in the university cafeterias. And then we were selling advertising. But also we saw that we're not getting enough revenues due to eyeballs not being good on the screens. What he then did was that we figured out, how about we start investing in cameras and shooting students on campus, shooting what's happening on campus, so that, you know, when the student walks on campus and they see themselves on the screen, then they pet their friends and be like, yo, look, that's you or that's me, type of thing, you know, and that gained us a lot of ground in the university space. So what we then did was that we started having shows, we started interviewing say influential people on campus, you know, like the deans, the HODs, you know. So even like at some point, whenever there's like the year-end parties or functions at the residences, so what we used to do is that we had a red carpet and our banner, and it would be like a paparazzi type of setup.
Lights, camera, action.
Lights, camera, action. And people, when the ladies, we used to do a lot of ladies' residence.
Yes.
So when the ladies walk out, and their partners would be waiting outside, and we just, you know, capture those moments on campus. So that's where it sort of started formally, you know, being in the media space, you know. So in that period, whilst running Varsity TV, I was also doing my honors my masters at the time.
Yeah.
So first year of my masters, then I was inspired by Megs on Media. You know, I was watching a lot of Jeremy Meggs, Megs on Media, and it was about branding and marketing, and, you know, sort of analyzing campaigns and getting people to speak about their campaigns and whatnot. I figured if there's a Megs on Media, there can be a pattern brands.
Yeah.
And what Pat will do, or pattern brands will do rather, will be to give pats and slaps on brands. So if a brand delivers on its promise and comes up with like interesting campaigns, it'll get a pat.
Yes.
And if it fails to do that and it delivers shoddy work or shoddy products and services, it'll get a slap. So that's how it sort of started. And at the time, it was just a blog. You know, it was just me in my dorm room at Varsity, writing articles, publishing them on their website, you know. And at the time it was just me leaving my passion. But also what I was very intentional about, and I was really glad that in your intro you were like, you can't talk marketing without mentioning Pat.
Yeah.
And really that was the intention for me.
Yes.
That I wanted to position myself in such a way that, and I'm still work in progress, that there shouldn't be any conversation in this country about branding and marketing that my voice and my opinion is not invited to. So that was the key motivator when I started. And of course, the platform evolved over the years from just being a blog to now sort of being a fully fledged media platform where I even get other people to publish their articles on. We're hosting our own series of events, the Pattern Brands Dialogues. We do giveaways, and it's just a proper, I'd say, media platform. And I think the top 16 Youth-Owned Brands Awards were first launched under Pattern Brands. So we've been just, ours is a story of progress, you know, just evolving and moving with the times. We now have also our own podcast,
yes.
You know, so that's where we are playing in. And if there's another channel that we have the resources to explore, we'll definitely get into that.
Most definitely. Of course, he is exploring and touching base with various different elements within the marketing, media, and entertainment industry. We chat to Pat more after this quick break. We want to find out more. What are some of the challenges and exciting things that he can say are up next for his brand and, of course, him as an individual as well. We'll see you straight after this ad break. So running a business is not child's play. It's not an easy thing to do, but Pat seems to be doing it quite effortlessly. Is there a formula to this thing, Pat? Business, entrepreneurship. How are you managing to get it right?
I think the biggest thing is the love.
Yeah.
You know, I love what I'm doing, and I don't see myself doing anything else except for what I'm doing right now. So that's what's sort of keeping me going. And I always say, entrepreneurship is like flying a plane whilst you're still sort of building it.
Yeah.
Adding wings and
you're flying.
and you are flying. And
Yeah.
I also like what Gary Vee always says around being an entrepreneur. It's like you are like a firefighter, constantly, putting out fires. If it's not your supplier, it's your employees. If it's not your employees, it's SARS. If it's not SARS, it's your clients not paying you on time. There's always stuff that you're facing and that you're dealing with. And I think if you don't have the passion and the love for it, you can easily give up.
Yeah.
So that's where the challenge is, and for most people. And I think from outside, yes, it looks glamorous. It looks like we are in control. We're in control of our time, which is obviously sort of a plus. I can decide now, okay, cool, I want to go spend time with my daughter and I'll still be fine.
Yeah.
But above that, the stress levels are really, really high. And what it takes is the love and passion. And also just to see your people also grow. Or when I say your people, the people in your team grow. I mean, I've had people, coming in fresh from varsity, not knowing anything, and now sort of mastering their work and growing as individuals and stuff like this. So that's what keeps me going also, just to see people developing, people growing through what you created. So it's really about that, it's about the love, and it's about growing and developing people. Because also, if we don't do anything, who will?
Who will? And hearing that you're a contributor to the economy, you're a contributor to families being fed, you're a contributor to livelihoods, right? And enabling people their purpose as well.
Absolutely.
Which is such a beautiful experience to get to see. Lerato Agency.
Yeah, that baby.
That baby. It's growing beautifully.
We started the Lerato Agency right in the thick of the lockdown in 2020. And really, it was just a one-man show at that time. And 3 months into it, I was employing 4 people.
Yeah.
So that story also is one that continues to be written. It's a story of progress. Sometimes when I look back, I'm in awe, in terms of what the agency has been able to accomplish, in this very short space of time. We're turning 3 this year, but already we've worked with some really awesome brands, and one of which still remains, our flagship work. I'd say it's just that, anything with government, things tend to move really slow, but was crafting the brand identity of South Africa's first ever post-apartheid city, and smart city. That's taking shape in Lanseria, and that project for me is one that's really close to my heart. So then obviously we got some of the big brands that are listed, and JSE listed, and like some really proper blue chip companies, and the work that we also do with Brand Africa as well. On that front, and more recently, sometimes we also get to work with some really up and coming brands as well. So the agency is really growing.
Amazing. That's what we love to hear on the show. Like that's what we want to hear. To someone who's watching and is intrigued on wanting to know more about how would you go about describing what the agency is, right? If you were to give context to what exactly Lerato Agency is and the work it does.
So our positioning is that of a PR and digital creative agency.
Okay.
So we have what you call our 5 love languages. So as you know, Lerato means love.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I named it after my younger sister, Lerato.
Yeah.
So our 5 love languages is obviously PR being the main one. We've got digital marketing, design and branding, events management, and content creation.
Okay.
So that's our 5 love languages. And every now and then we would maybe explore other things outside of our core offering, but really that's what we do.
Yeah. And what's next for Pat? What's the future looking like? What would you say is maybe one or even two of the things that you still would like to accomplish, whether it's in the industry or as individually as Pat?
Sure. I mean, so I'm adventurous in my nature. I like being outdoors. I like, doing some people think it's crazy. So I run marathons. So I still have comrades to run.
My goodness.
I was meant to do it in 2020, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
As with anything that happened during COVID, fitness just sort of dropped.
Yeah.
So I still have those ambitions. I still have ambitions to climb Kili.
Ooh.
So that's on
that's a big one. On the bucket list.
Yeah, on my bucket list, on the personal front. From a business perspective, I have ambitions in like the entertainment industry, particularly maybe I'm looking at like producing movies or that
I can
sort
see
of
you
content.
doing that. I can see you
so
doing that.
That's a space I'm eyeing, but that's not gonna happen now.
Okay.
I still need to, build and grow Lerato Agency I still need to win awards first.
Okay.
Under that agency, Lerato still needs to create some more impactful work, and from that we'll build, But yeah, for now it's just, growing these babies, pattern brands, Lerato Agency, and of course my daughter. And
Adorable.
Yes, and then on the personal front, exploring the Comrades Marathon and climbing Kili.
You're gonna come back on the show when you've won your award.
Yes.
When you've done Kilimanjaro and after Comrades. Yeah. That's the commitment you're doing on camera.
That's if after doing Comrades, I'll still be alive because it's a killer. Literally. But
most definitely. No, we're looking forward to seeing you explore a lot of those. And I do see you producing. I think that creative juices could be beautifully explored within that space as well.
Absolutely. And I think, that also would be like a full-on 360 moment when that happens. So from being a kid, wanting to be in the space, but remember, the reason why I wanted to be a TV presenter is because that's what I was exposed to. That's what I see. But I didn't know what was happening behind the sines. I didn't know that there was a director, there was a producer, there was a scriptwriter, there was all these sorts of things. So now when that happens, it's going to be like a full-on 360.
Amazing. Yeah. If you were to give a young boy or even an older person who might be in a village like Limpopo or the Eastern Cape or Mpumalanga or in a country in Africa, right, who has heard your story, is inspired by the success that you've accomplished and really wants some little bit of motivation to keep them going, what words would you share with them?
Sure. Just remain humble.
Yeah.
Humble enough. I'm not saying humble, like don't walk with confidence and whatever, but be humble enough to ask questions when you don't know. I am where I am today because I asked a lot of questions. I was interested in what I wanted to do. So a lot of people don't want to ask questions. Even though when they get an opportunity, they're not curious enough to know more about what they're doing. They think they're limited understanding is what it is and it ends there and there's no need to add more. So just be curious. Be curious. Be humble to ask questions. Question everything. There's no such thing as a stupid question. That's what my teacher used to say. And I concur. Ask questions. Ask. Be present when you are given an opportunity, no matter how small, because it's those small opportunities that build up to become big things.
Yes.
Whether you get an opportunity in the entertainment industry, for example, to just sweep the floor, for example, right? But when you ask questions, so this thing that you do of being a director, what is it about?
Yeah.
Then people, and I've come to understand that people are always willing to share.
Yes.
To share their knowledge, to share their experiences, and to give information. So why not take advantage of that? So just be humble enough to to understand what you don't know, but also to ask the right questions. Just ask the questions.
Yeah.
Ask questions and be curious and be interested.
Yeah. And have that hunger for life. I love that.
Absolutely.
Now, let's, we're closing up the show now, but Pattern Brands, I want you to share how and where one can find it, because I think it's one platform that, audiences who are watching should be following and engaging with.
Yes.
So where do they find more info and insight on Pattern Brands?
So it's patternbrands.com. That's our website, and obviously across all social media platforms or major ones that is. Pattern Brands on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all those platforms. So it's just Pattern Brands.
It's definitely
PATONBRANDS.
And yes, and of course the top 16 youth-owned brands awards. When are those happening? When should we be on the lookout for them?
We're actually launching soon.
Yeah.
We're launching soon. Super excited about that. But in terms of the actual events, it's 15 June.
Okay, so stay tuned,
June,
ladies and gents. So 15th of June, that's when these incredible inaugural awards are happening. So you should definitely be on the lookout for that. Pat, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm going to give you a bit of I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah?
You've always wanted to be a television presenter. So I'm going to ask you to look into camera.
Yeah?
And close the show for us.
This
one? Right here.
Which one?
This one over
Is
here.
that one behind you? Okay.
Close up the show for us. We're at the Vuyo Joboda show. Say goodbye to viewers.
Yeah.
Of course, tell them who you are. And this is your shot. Take it away.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for watching the Vuyo Joboda show. And I am Pat Mahlangu. Be sure to like, subscribe. I'm kidding. See you next time.
Yeah. Woo-woo. Ladies and gents, we'll see you on the next episode of the Vuyo Joboda show. From myself, Vuyo Joboda, and the amazing Pat Mahlangu, it is goodbye and God bless. Cheers for now.